Hello guys, and today we're going to be watching F1 play Modern Warfare 1 today. I think he's just doing the first couple of levels and he wants us to see what we think about it pretty much, eh? That's about it. Pretty much.
Hell yeah, kids! Isn't it awesome? So like we're just like sitting here watching the introduction. And I gotta say, it's actually pretty neat. You know, I actually played this game a while back, back in my heydays. And I gotta say, it's a very, very interesting game.
To be honest, I want to buy this game right now, because just look at it.
Yeah, I mean, this game was made like back in, I believe it was like 2007, 2008, or like around that time. And even today, the graphics are still good. And actually, now that I really think about it, the graphics are almost exactly the same as the ones you find today in games like Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3. So a lot of things hasn't really changed yet, but with the upcoming release of Call of Duty Ghosts, hopefully we can see a little bit of the graphics change, a little bit of the gameplay. But I mean, with that being said though, I mean, going back to a game like this, it was actually revolutionary. I mean, just to see someone like Edison play this game, I feel like peeling my eyes out and pouring my eye sockets with acid, because chances are he's going to fail every single little last objective down to the Earth's core.
Reload!
So, yeah.
Reload! Here we go. You finally reloaded. It took him like 2 minutes to reload. Jeez. Oh, he's... What do you reckon? He's not that bad at it. Hey, he's catching on.
Okay, it's not that bad so far. I mean, okay, think about it. Okay, it's a tutorial phase. It's obviously not going to be something which will challenge him and push him to the limits.
Yeah.
But I mean, so far what he's doing is quite.
I should have told him
moderately impressive.
I should have added with that bit. You know how he's just aiming down the scope, taking out the targets. What you meant to do is aim in and out, so you always lock onto your target.
Ah, yeah, true, because it can quick snap your targets, which is fantastic considering the fact that now Call of Duty is basically taking, you know, guns, and they're taking gun skills and they're throwing it out the window. So yeah, I'm very impressed actually.
God, this is bringing back good memories. I was so excited when my dad brought me home this game, and I didn't know what Call of Duty was, right? I didn't know, and at the time I think this game was a couple of weeks old. I was like, okay, I'm gonna play it. Gone in, did this mission, I was like, this is gonna change my life forever. Because I wasn't really new at shooting games on the PS3. I got this on PS3 and I wasn't good at shooting games. And I would play this game for about, what, 5 hours a day, non-stop. It was insane of how much, like, campaign you get bored of, obviously, because if you do it over and over, but you do unlock all the cheat codes. But going online, it's like a different challenge every time, because you meet all these different people.
Yeah, true. I mean, like, on top of that, though, it really brought the, what was it called? The hardcore playing game. Like, you know, like, a lot of people debate about how this gaming generation is kind of like. A lot of people sort of think that it's pretty much, you know, just everyone who's like a bunch of frag heads, and that is actually kind of true. I mean, most gamers this generation, they're not people who are very, I mean, like, you know, last generation gamers with the PS2 and everything like that, they had a lot of interesting games that came out. So you had things like Grand Theft Auto. I mean, there were a huge variety of games for the Xbox and the PS2. But then as soon as this game came out for the PS3 and the Xbox 360, alongside Halo 3, I believe, that sort of changed the whole face of gaming. I mean, it became very online centered, and sort of now everyone's focusing on multiplayer. If that's a good thing or not, I honestly cannot tell. But the thing is that it's highly influential, and because of the single game, we have so many other games that now have the exact same game mechanics as it. I mean, no other game has been as influential as the Call of Duty series. And that's about the good and the bad thing, of course. I mean, the bad thing being that now every game's pretty much trying to copy Modern Warfare and the Call of Duty series. But the good thing being that for the most part it works out well, and you get used to it. I mean, it's pretty cool. But sorry, I'm derailing from my subject here. My point is, Call of Duty 4, it was highly influential, and it's just something that you can't ignore, despite the fact that Call of Duty nowadays, believe it or not, a lot of people are pretty much moving away from it. Now it's about independent gaming, from what I can see. You still can't ignore the fact that at least Call of Duty 4 had a huge influence on it.
It did. I'm just noticing right now as he approaches the ship, just the graphics on here. For its time, it was just really brilliant.
Actually, yeah, true. I mean, think about it. Call of Duty. I mean, there are a lot of military style shooters out there. I mean, there are things like, you know, Counter-Strike, Medal of Honor, and then Call of Duty. But what Call of Duty really pulls off is the fact that it's a cinematic feel. It's something that is very hard to pull off with games if they're not done right. And Call of Duty essentially put the whole idea of cinematic gameplay, especially a military-style gameplay, like, all into perspective. It encapsulated everything, and it did so with its very, very charming cinematics. It had great theatrical voice acting. It just had a lot of box office potential, and it still does to this very day, just because of the fact that it's just so influential, and it's just, and I really can't get over it. And Edison here looks like he's completely lost as he's just going around and, like, you know, shoots all of his friends, shoots everyone. By the way, never give a Chinese guy a pistol or a machine gun, just a knife.
No, just a piece of wood, a spoon, wooden spoon actually. That should teach them.
No, because they'll send the blueprints. They'll send the blueprints off to a place in, like, China or their subsidiaries in Taiwan, and then they'll start trying to make a copy of it. And then they'll actually be able to afford education. Woo! And then they get really high scores in high schools all across the world. It's unbelievable. It's a fantastic phenomenon. Anyway, here he's progressing on the ship, and actually I take back what I just said right now. He's actually making some pretty good progress. One thing I instantly notice about this game compared to the other Call of Duties is that the story itself is actually quite cohesive. I mean, Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3, and in fact all games following Modern Warfare for a matter of fact, they actually don't really follow a cohesive plot. This is the game which is probably the most realistic out of the Call of Duty series. Everything else just absolutely makes fuck all sense, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, I'm worried for this bit. This bit I remember dying on quite a lot here. Let's see how he tackles it. Did you manage to catch what difficulty you put the settings on? I wasn't really paying attention for that part, were you?
No idea.
Oh, right.
No idea.
Regular. I think you put on a regular or recruit.
Oh, hang on. I think it was regular. It was regular, actually.
Yeah.
Although veteran would have been a little bit more, you know,
exciting to watch. Oh, look at it.
Oh, he's dead. And he died. Fantastic.
Oh, look at that.
I mean, oh, and also one thing I noticed, believe it or not, whenever you die in Call of Duty, I mean, they always have a pretty cool quote, but they kind of stopped that eventually with the campaign. I don't know why. Like it was a trademark of Call of Duty back then to include quotes whenever you died, but then now they sort of don't do that anymore. That's kind of a shame because I really loved the quotes.
I didn't notice. I thought,
like, you know, an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind.
Black Ops doesn't.
Wait, what?
Black Ops doesn't do it, right? But I thought Modern Warfare 3.
No, Black Ops doesn't do it anymore. Yeah, I mean, like, think about it, like, Black Ops doesn't do it, you know, Black Ops 2 didn't do it, Modern Warfare 3 didn't do it, I believe.
Two different companies.
It just stopped with Modern Warfare 2.
Oh, I missed Modern Warfare 2.
It just kind of sucks, though. I mean, like, Call of Duty games nowadays, they've just sort of lost their footing, in my opinion. I mean, they've gotten rid of a lot of what makes them Call of Duty. I mean, I remember there's a video of mine that I made, and it was my opinions about Black Ops 2. And the thing about it is that Call of Duty has always been known for its very accurate historical representation. I mean, think about it. A lot of the games that have been set, most of the games which have been set, are events that have happened in the past. So things like World War II, the Vietnam War, which was covered in Black Ops. And in this case, here's a fictional war, but it's still, you know, it still maintains some relevancy in today's society. But then Black Ops 2 sort of came along, and it's set in the future, and, you know, you don't really feel too compelled about it. If you want to play a great futuristic shooter, I wouldn't well, okay, it's a great futuristic shooter would be something along the lines of Deus Ex. Because of the fact that Deus Ex very well accurately portrays what does go on in the future, and on top of that, it's something which is so bloody influential. I mean, if you've played a game like Deus Ex, if you've played a game which talks about the future, if you've played a game that really accurately portrays what the future may very well be like, that's sort of the game, Deus Ex Human Revolution. It's a fantastic game, and I suggest if you guys ever have the chance to, just, you know, play it. Just pick it up from the store. It's like $20 now because it's been out for quite a while. You know, it's pretty much a steal. I got it for $14, which was just fucking ridiculous.
Oh. What? No, wait, David, I'm trying to remember that game. I think I have heard of that. I have heard of that. I've seen it advertised on Steam, actually.
It's good. I mean, I actually didn't buy it on Steam. I bought it for my PS3, but I mean, Deus Ex is a fantastic game, and well, getting back to the topic at hand, my point is, Call of Duty just it isn't what it is anymore, and whether it's a good thing or not, I'm not necessarily saying it's a bad thing. I'm sort of insinuating it here. But the thing is that it's something which has it's a mixed bag. Let's just say that. And here they find a nuke.
That's
now,
normal.
up until this point, nukes. I mean, yep, it's completely normal. I mean, it's not like every other game has it nowadays. But up until this point, nukes as plot devices haven't been used quite a lot, believe it or not. Also, the stereotype of Russians being, you know, the ultimate bad guy and, you know, my name is Vladimir, I'll come to kill you up your ass. No, like back then it wasn't really, and an explosion, oh, boom.
I forgot about that.
Kaboom.
No, but isn't this game's not based on the Russian army altogether? It's based on, I think it's based on this outlaw. I can't remember his name. I just said Voldemort.
Yeah, I know.
It's not Voldemort.
Obviously, it's Makarov. Yeah, I know.
Not Makarov.
Is that to be a Russian? I mean.
No, it's not Makarov. It's the dude before him. It's Makarov's boss.
All right. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, not Makarov. What's his name? Zakhaev. Yeah.
Zakhaev. Yeah.
What is I like to call Zeki boy?
Makarov.
The most sexy Zeki boy.
I don't think we should talk about Makarov. It's the wrong game. But Makarov Godmate was a freaking awesome villain in the game. Like one of the top 100. I reckon Makarov is just one of the best villains.
True. He is, but like one thing I have to admit always is the best ones in gaming. They're not the ones that seem to have the most dastardly plan. You know, oh, I'm going to kill everyone and then you'll see my true wrath. No, that's not really the best villains. The best villains are the ones where their actions to a very large degree can be justified. Like, if you really think about it.
So
like, I mean, like, okay, like, if you look at a game like, let me think of, like, if you look at a game like, another game like Spec Ops: The Line, which barely anyone has heard of, there, the villain actually blurs the line between what it is to be good and what it is to be bad. And in a way, Modern Warfare and Call of Duty in general, they don't do that much. It's very ironed out as to who's the bad guy and who's not the bad guy. And the thing is that what the bad guy does is sometimes so extravagantly villainous that you just really can't relate to the characters at all. You just sort of sit there and you just think to yourself, are you for real? Is this what this guy is doing? Why doesn't he actually do something, I don't know, humane about it? But then other villains, the ones who actually want to do something, the ones who aren't openly militant, the ones who hide behind lies and deceit, those are the ones which are far more interesting, because those are generally the ones where you can really relate to their villainous character. Just a dude stealing a nuke and blowing shit up isn't very good. It's nothing spectacular, at least in my honest opinion. It's just simply a cliche. A cliche that the bad guy's gonna, you know, the bad guy's gonna die and we have to stop him and, you know, he's gonna destroy the world and all that sort of shit.
This part right here is the most interesting, I reckon, in my opinion. This part.
Ah, yes. Now, this is cinematics at its absolute finest, and this is probably one of the reasons. I mean, think about it. I mean, like, this is basically how cinematics should be done. And the reason is just because of the fact that you're absolutely helpless in this scene. They force you to watch this whole thing. And you sort of begin to grasp the expanse of the conflict here. And the thing is that Call of Duty has always been some game. It's always been a kind of game which sort of makes us question about like what war really is, at least to some extent. And Call of Duty 4 manages to do that fairly well. I mean, there are quite a lot of graphic scenes in this game. I mean, like this car sequence is actually a very fine example of that. You're gonna look towards the left and towards the right, and you're gonna see people getting shut up against the wall, doing things like mass genocide. Yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, like, the thing is that it's war, and it conveys it quite well. The later titles of Modern Warfare don't generally do it that well because it's full of fucking cliches, and it drives me up the wall. But here it manages to place its footing actually quite well. And if I had to pick a game out of the Modern Warfare series that I would love to play again and that I would love to enjoy my multiplayer and, like, you know, just spend my hard-earned money on, it would be this game, actually. Believe it or not, I would buy this game over the newer titles. Even over something like Call of Duty Ghosts. I would definitely do that.
Really? You would? I see what you're coming at. If I had a choice, I would replay this game online and everything over again because, be honest, Modern Warfare 2, I loved Modern Warfare 2. I spent quite a bit of hours on that because just it was Modern Warfare 1, just slightly more improved, but this game here gets you back to basics. You don't unlock many guns, but it gets you back to basics, and it wasn't really about the guns. Like, I remember playing, I had about 7 friends that I played with daily. I know that makes me sound loser, but no, 7 like regular friends, like constant, non-stop talk to. And we just had the greatest time in our life. Like, I remember playing this game, this is how I learned about no-scope and all that. And I'm just pointing out right here, here's the massive shooting that's just taken place. Just like AJ was talking about. And, I forgot, what was I talking about? I just blanked out for a second.
Actually, completely have no... You were mentioning that you're having experiences with your friends and stuff.
That sounds wrong, but okay. Oh, this part is just this part.
Oh yeah, it's pretty much when you can tell that shit's about to go down.
Yeah. Really, like, he's getting kicked in the face. You know something's not up.
Well, the president no more. And I think one of the things about this game is just that particular scene really generated controversy, especially amongst Arabic audiences. And in my honest opinion, for its time, Call of Duty 4 was actually quite a controversial game because it took place, first of all, during a contemporary period of time, and this is back when the war on terror was actually in full swing. I mean, now it's sort of died down to some extent, although not really, but this is back in like 2008, and this is back when they still were fighting the war on terror. This is back when people were deploying troops into full forces into Afghanistan and Iraq and all those, you know, like all those extremely dangerous areas. And then we have this story which takes place in the Arab nation, and it generates a lot of controversy, and kaboom, and you're dead.
He wasn't looking at the gun. Oh, come on,
Sorry,
why didn't you look at the gun? Look at the gun, Eddie.
He's dead now, and there's a loading screen.
Oh, here we go.
Well, I mean, of course, Edison's not going to look at the gun. He's just simply.
Too late to do anything for all for long.
Poor little Asian. What did we do to him?
And there's also Nikolai.
Oh,
Nikolai. Actually, there's one thing. A lot of people tend to think that Call of Duty stereotypes Russians as being always the bad guy, always the one who's always the kinds of people who are, you know, anti-American. But in this case here, that's not really the case. Believe it or not. they do have people who are Russian and who do oppose the regime of Zakayev, and that is quite interesting, in my honest opinion. Oh, holy crap! It just transitioned into a first person. Woo! One thing I immediately noticed about this game is the fact that, well, first of all, the transitions from cutscenes into actual first-person shooter style, into the actual game, it's actually a lot better than it is in a game like Modern Warfare 3 or Modern Warfare 2. On top of that, though, a lot of the times, a game like this, its story, its missions, they make a lot of sense, which is a pretty good thing. However, there's always been one thing that has really, really irked my bumhole about Call of Duty, and it's its linearity. I mean, Call of Duty doesn't really have a lot of different elements of storytelling that sort of, it grabs the player while you're playing it, but then outside of it, you're just like, yeah, okay, fine. It's got a pretty good story, but then that's just sort of it. And I think this is just because of the fact that a lot of games now, they're sort of incorporating things like multi-plot storylines, different endings, different ways to approach your objective. If you play a game like Far Cry 3 or a game like Grand Theft Auto, you'll sort of know what I mean, because it is a game. Those are games where you can approach the situation any way you want. Here in Call of Duty, it's a little bit more linear than that, and I think that's probably the reason why I believe that Call of Duty's campaign modes are just generally not that fun. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do like Call of Duty 4, and to a large extent I do like Modern Warfare 2. It's just simply because of the fact that it could have been done better in a way. I mean, it could have been done so that it was less formulaic, but I mean, hey, the guys did what they could then, so I can't really blame them now.
Edison, what are you doing, mate? It's a stealth mission.
Well, I mean, first of all, you have to yeah, okay, it's a stealth mission, but you sort of have to really put this into perspective. This is Call of Duty. This is a mode, or this is a game where you pretty much do as the game tells you to, not as you want to. This isn't really a game where you can go stealthy all the time. It's more or less a game where you can go stealthy only at certain periods of the story. So even if Edison is discovered, I don't think it's entirely his fault. However, if I do find fortune cookies all over my sofa, I know exactly who I'm hunting down.
That's true. This bit got me when all the soldiers come up from the grass. I was about to shoot them all.
It is actually kind of scary, to be honest with you. I mean, Call of Duty has always, I mean, as I said before, it's a cinematic experience, so there are often times where you just feel like shooting everything in sight because you feel like you're about to get swamped or something. You feel like you're about to get ambushed. I mean, I've never seen a movie where you see something and then you realize that it's not quite right. Something just is out of place, and then shit goes down. Ever had that sort of feeling before when you're watching a movie or playing a game?
Yes, yeah, I know what you're talking about, how the movie's going quite well and you think that they're gonna win or something. Like Avatar, I got the first time watching Avatar when they got together, and then they finally destroyed Home Tree. I know you're not a big fan of Avatar, but have you watched it fully?
Roger, covering left flank.
Yeah, of course. They take a fucking huge ship and blow up the tree, and everyone's like, oh no, shit, the tree's gone and all the unobtainium.
Oh look, the big plant is gone. It's not like we can get another plant.
Exactly. I mean, okay, fine. I have to give them credit for showing some concern, because after all, that was their homeland. I mean, that is a pretty cool fucking tree. But still, come on, it's just cliche. And on the subject of cliches, why are games nowadays so cliched? Actually, it's always a bad guy. And actually, okay, funny thing is, about a good 70% of games that have been made this generation all have an aspect of, it's like it's a military aspect. It's always got to be a kind of military force behind it. It's all about the military. That's sort of a bad thing in my opinion, because if there's something which is unrealistic, if there's something which doesn't conform to what people like nowadays, it is instantly despised on, regardless of whether it's a good game or not. I mean, to really put this into perspective, consider racing games, right? Now, racing games nowadays, barely anyone plays them, or barely anyone online plays them, as a matter of fact. Yet they're still very good. A lot of people still hate on them, though. A lot of people think that it'll never get the same caliber as first-person shooters, that they'll always be left in the dust, that they're the things of the past. And that's simply not true. There are still good games. There are people that have put effort into making those kinds of games. And the thing is that who the hell should say that military games are the only kinds of games that should exist? First-person shooters shouldn't be the only kinds of games that exist as well. There are third-person shooters, and there's other kinds of shooters, like platformers.
What's Skyrim
There's
these days? What's Skyrim?
Skyrim's like Skyrim's actually a hybrid. It's both an FPS and a TPS. So it's both first person and third person. Although most people who broadcast their games on YouTube, they prefer to play in first person, and very rarely do you select things like third person, just simply because it's for added convenience.
No, it's just like Minecraft as well.
But
Minecraft
with that being said, though, no, I know it is first person. I'm not saying that first person games are all bad. I'm saying that a lot of the first person shooter games that are on the market nowadays, they're always something. It's something to do with like the military. It's always got to be either in the future, in the past, or the present. It's all about the military. And it's a lot. I mean, it's not just simply the U.S. Army. It's whatever special forces there are. There are even fictional special forces and stuff like that as well. It's just that whole cliche that's all about the military. Someone should just make a game where you go around, you just shoot people, and then that's all you do. Like, they shouldn't try to incorporate a story too much into it. And in a way, Grand Theft Auto has filled that void to a pretty big extent. But they need more games like that. They just need more games with original stories, and that's basically it.
The other games, have you played, what was it, Mafia? Mafia something?
Oh yeah, Mafia's a good series. But the thing is, I mean, like, think about it. Like, how many people do you hear of who play Mafia nowadays? I mean, a lot of people. Like, okay, Sleeping Dogs is something that people play a lot nowadays. But see, there are games like that. But the thing is, they don't have the same caliber that a game like Call of Duty has, and that's a shame because games that are good should have that sort of caliber. Games that put time and effort into having the player experience something fantastic and amazing, that have a great experience, they should have just as much as an opportunity to get noticed on a place like YouTube than any other game out there.
I think maybe Battlefield 3 actually, because the storyline in that is more realistic. Like, you got an enemy force, an enemy nation. Like,
no, not Battlefield 3. Not Battlefield 3. That also follows the same cliches.
How does that fall? I reckon that's more of a decent storyline than Call of Duty, to be honest, because you got a nation.
No, because once again, you have nukes and Russians. I believe, like, once again, going back to cliches, no matter how good your story is, if you're gonna have a cliche in it, at least make it some. Okay, if you're gonna have a cliche in it, at least make it a different kind of cliche. At least make it like a cliche from like the 70s or the 80s or something like that. Don't make it about things that other games have done. So things like Russians and nukes. Yeah, I wonder where I've seen that before. Think about it.
Oh yeah, but yeah, okay, yeah, true. But
and while no, don't get me wrong though, I'm not hating on the gameplay. The gaplay of Battlefield 3 is holy shit, unbelievable. And he died again. Random grenade. Thou hast been. Thou dost by. Oh, hang on, wait. Thou hast been killed by an explosive ball. That's just simply me speaking Elizabethan English, which I will now stop doing because that is just absolutely embarrassing. So, Liam, what kind of thoughts do you have on your mind about this game?
This game right here? Well, okay, to be honest, all in all, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4, aren't we meant to be talking about how well he's playing? Okay, quick recap on how well Eddie is doing. So far, doing shit. Anyway, back to this. My thoughts on this game is that it's a game that, at the time, it was brilliant, but they should have just left it at Modern Warfare 1. They should have brought out other games. I understand why they did it, probably to get more money.
Actually, true. I believe Modern Warfare 2. It was true. Modern Warfare 2 was something more or less of a. It was sort of a testament. They did want to really influence it. And when Call of Duty 4 came out, back then the gaming community on YouTube was like nil, like it didn't exist. And then after this game was broadcasted on YouTube, and after people wanted to see it, you know, it got some momentum. But it wasn't really until Modern Warfare 2 came out that people just stepped back, and they were all like, you know, oh, holy shit, watch out. This is really what, you know, this is really it. This is really how we can proliferate gaming on YouTube. And Modern Warfare 2 was necessary for that. It had the tools necessary for a game to become popular. And it was things like fantastic online multiplayer, you know, a great online community, a shit ton of pointless advertising, but I digress. You know, it's stuff like that that really brought it home. So to say that Modern Warfare 2 is completely useless, I would have to disagree with. But to say that it's something innovative, that to a quite a large degree, I also disagree with. Because it is innovative, yes. But is it something that deserves like 19 million Game of the Year awards? In my opinion, no, not that much. Because it didn't do too much to break the mantle of Call of Duty 4. But it's still enjoyable, and it's still quite a fun game. I mean, okay, I'm not even going to bother mentioning Modern Warfare 3. That game was just abysmal in my honest opinion.
We'll keep that out for another discussion, another video that hopefully will be out soon. Maybe we can get Edison to play Modern Warfare 3, and then me and you can really hash at it, really hack away at it.
Well, the thing is that, I mean, Modern Warfare 3 is kind of on sale right now. I mean, I would be tempted to buy it if it wasn't just such a fucking horrible game. There are a lot of problems I have with that game, and I'm not really going to go into too much detail because, honestly, if I could write a 300-page thesis on it. Just think about it. A 300-page thesis on why Call of Duty itself is failing and or why Call of Duty is... Holy shit. Oh my god.
Well.
Okay, I'm looking outside right now, and I don't know what the hell my father has just done, but he's basically hung all of my laundry out on our garden trees. So after this video, I'm gonna have a little talk with him, and I'm gonna. He's taken literally all of my clothing, and to hang it to dry, he's put it on the trees. Oh my fucking lord! Okay, think of it like this. Oh god, he's got the logic of a fucking beaver, in my honest opinion. Oink oink, motherfuckers.
The beaver doesn't make oink oink, but anyway, do you know how you talk
maybe
about...
Maybe they do, bitch. Maybe they do, maybe they do.
Okay, do you know how we talked about villains before? How you want a dude... I was thinking, like the joke of Batman, who just wants to see the world burn, he just does it because he can, there's no reason he's doing it, it's just because he can. I want to see a villain in a game that's like that will just go out and do it. He's not supporting a country, he's not fighting for a country.
Actually, there are villains like that in gaming.
There are?
If you really want a gaming villain like that, I suggest you check out Far Cry 3.
Oh yeah.
Voss Montenegro, in my honest opinion,
that's the best.
Is one of the best villains ever conceived of, and it's because he's simply just got no moral compass, and because he's so unpredictable.
He is.
And that's what's so...
He's funny too, that's a good thing about it, he's really funny and insane. Like the whole speech on insanity, that was so true, because what he was saying, he wasn't making that up, that's actually a fact. It was just
true, you're insane because... You're insane by the merits of society, not because you actually are insane, because you really can't define insanity and blah blah.
Like, I wasn't saying insanity is when you expect this, doing the same shit every single day, expecting something to change.
Ah, yeah, true. Doing the same shit over and over again.
Expecting different
So
shit.
by that definition, the Call of Duty series at this point is completely fucking batshit crazy.
I just noticed a really big bug on this game. Look at the scope. Right now, just look at the scope whenever you can. See? That's not the image that will be in front of you.
Oh yeah, it's not actually. Hang on.
Yeah, I'm just noticing that now.
It's actually not the image. Oh, holy shit. I can't believe no one's noticing this. It's not the reflection.
Oh,
It's
is it behind
actually
you?
just a.
No, it can't be behind
What
you.
the fuck?
See, look, there.
Yeah, it's something. It's like a building or something. It's just like just random reflections. Hooray for cheating! But anyway, I think that pretty much marks the end of our commentary here for the first episode of Modern Warfare, played by yours truly, Edison. And well, yeah. What do you have to say? Any final comments about this game?
Final call. Okay, quick, brilliant game, good graphics, end it at that. Just leave it at that.
Yeah, exactly. I think so far what people need to focus on now is less of the stories, less of the cliche, and just more about making a good game that is just coherent, that just makes sense. I mean, back then, this game is considered to be something revolutionary. Back then, this is considered to be something, something which is, how do I say, something which really changed what gaming is nowadays. And we need more games like that. We need games that are actually willing to just simply go out there and that are not afraid to try anything new. Call of Duty 4 did that, and I'm sure that in the future we'll definitely have games like that. So with that being said, I hope you guys liked our commentary. This is sort of like a live post commentary. So if you guys would like us to have any improvements with these videos, if you guys think that we should, do something to improve, if you guys think that we should change our style a little bit, don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section below, because Liam is a sexy boy who is, from
Also,
New Zealand.
I am. These These videos will be uploaded to CastTheGaming, also uploaded to the Striker Force, so we're going to have on and off different channels, since we're both doing it. So some will go to his channel, some will go to CastTheGaming. Make sure you subscribe to Striker Force. He's doing, I hear he's actually bringing out some great reviews soon. His new series, Under the Radar, talking about games that need to be out there more, which I think is brilliant. I already got one of his games that he suggested. I loved it. And all links will be down below. Do go check him out. You heard him this episode, you can hear him again. Hopefully this time he's not a bastard. Anyway, guys.
But with that being said, yeah, I hope you guys like this, and stick around for the next episode.
See you guys.